Greetings, gaming citizens. Mike here. I can't believe I'm making this video, honestly. I really didn't think I would be going to the Game Awards again. Unlike last time, I was not invited. Go figure. That was a very much a once-in-a-lifetime type of deal. No shot that's happening again. But, yeah, I went to the Game Awards in 2025, and what a year. It's been quite the year for the games industry. I originally wanted to go for the sole reason of I felt like the games industry was doing pretty good in terms of like really good game releases. Obviously, there was a lot of negative news. And being an American, you can imagine how much negative news I've been seeing pretty much every day. But I felt like there were a lot of good games that came out, a really good balance of indie and AAA stuff, and I thought it would have been fun to make it a stretch goal for myself to try and celebrate that. And at the time, I wanted to network because when I was figuring out how the hell I was going to get there, I didn't have a job in games. But that did change, so this was partially so I can meet some of my coworkers because I work in the games industry now, at least on a contract basis, as of the recording of this video. So I really wanted to have the opportunity to meet some of my coworkers in person and just celebrate games with people that work in the industry now that I actually work in it. It just felt like a really good opportunity. The stars just kind of aligned that way. So that's why we're doing this instead of co-streaming to like two people. So yeah, unlike last time where I had like a whole story about like, oh my god, my information didn't go through, but somehow I managed to get a ticket to the Game Awards, yada yada. This wasn't really anything like that. So yeah, there wasn't really much for me to say for like an intro here. So here's my journey and overall experience at the Game Awards this year. And at the end of this video, I'm probably going to have some feedback about the show, which I'll almost definitely talk about. So, there you go. Well, made it to Denver. I didn't do the cliche, like, taking a video of the plane taking off and landing, because I feel like that is way overdone at this point, even on my channel. It just doesn't feel real that I'm doing this, going to the Game Awards again. It feels weird. One more stop to go. But, Denver Airport's pretty cozy. I like it. A lot of good, like, food spots. So you're just looking around, there's Sky Bar, burger chain, crepe stand, so I'm gonna have to try that later. So I have like an hour layover until the next flight to LA, so yeah. I don't know what the point of these segments are that I'm filming. I don't know. I'm not good at this vlogging stuff. After finally making my way to LA and getting settled in my hotel, I had some noodles at a local restaurant and decided to explore LA live. And there was the massive Christmas tree, as they put up every year in the ice skating rink, which was really cool to see. I still wonder how they're able to keep it, like, active during, like, the LA weather, because it was, like, 75 degrees, so they're doing some weird witchcraft for that ice skating rink. But I also even got to check out the Divinity statue, which was wild to see in person. That thing was... I had no idea what I was even looking at. Throughout the whole day that I was just around, I was beside myself that I was in LA for yet another Game Awards, but this time as a professional. Alright, I don't remember when the last time I filmed was, but long story short, I'm in Los Angeles. I'm at the Marriott, of course. That's where everybody is, and it's honestly looking pretty crowded. Apparently there's like a California Infrastructure Association conference today, and then also the Game Awards tomorrow, and a bunch of volleyball players showing up tomorrow, so it's just all kinds of weird right now. But yeah, I just got some, I mean, dinner, I guess. It's like dinner time back at home for me. It's about 6 p.m. when I'm filming this. 6 p.m. Eastern. So like I'm eating dinner at 3. Time zones are weird, dude. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can try to talk to some people, maybe meet up with some people that I know online, and maybe try to do some networking. I don't know. I'm still feeling kind of awkward. So we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna give it the old college try. Um, but I'm excited. Like, I can't believe I'm here right now. Like, the Game Awards are tomorrow. What a time to be alive right now, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, that's all I really wanted to share. I don't know how much they'll let me film inside, because I know they're very restrictive with what you can even bring in that building. So, we'll see how far we can go. But in the meantime, I will probably touch base if there were any crazy networking updates. But otherwise, I'll see you when I see you. Throughout the day, I was hanging around the lobby of the J-Dub, and I met some fellow writers from Smashpad in person. So, if you don't know, Smashpad is a game review website that I write for. I've written a handful of reviews since I started in July of this year, and it was cool to finally meet some of the people that I've been writing with. After hanging out for a while, word got around in the Smashpad crew that EA was hosting what was previously a very private event, but they made a kind of open invite later on, unbeknownst to me. And apparently one of the guys from Smashpad, the editor-in-chief, Dan Reb, was invited and decided to take a couple of us along with him. So let me tell you, this was the highlight of my week, because next thing I knew, I was at the top of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, drinking beer, talking to industry professionals. My broke ass did not belong there, all right? Like, that was wild, to say the least. They were serving great food. There was a live mariachi band. It was just an amazing time. I met a handful of people that I recognize, like Danny from Gamertag Radio and Chad from Square Enix, who I've been, keeping up with. And when I actually wrote about Final Fantasy Tactics, Evilist Chronicles for Smashpad, I messaged him saying, like, hell yeah, dude, Final Fantasy Tactics, awesome. By the way, play Final Fantasy Tactics. Good video game. But to chat with these people that I've only really known on the internet in person for the first time, it was amazing. It was truly one of the best moments of that entire week. And we haven't even gotten to the main event yet. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I didn't film much last night. It was an absolute whirlwind. There was a lot that went on. I was up until like 11 p.m., which doesn't sound like a lot, but time zone difference, that's like 2 a.m. for me. I was really pushing my limit. Where do I begin with everything that happened? I got food at the not the Yard House, the Lazy Dog. If you're from LA, maybe you've heard of it. That sounds very passive aggressive. Anyway, went to the Lazy Dog for some food, had some really good noodles. And then from there, I was hanging around just LA Live and the JW lobby like I did last time I was at the Game Awards. But the difference was I had a reason to be there. So I actually had a bit more pep in my step. But good God, that was probably one of the best nights of my freaking life, dude. I met so many people that I knew online. I met quite a few new people. A lot of people in PR for games were there. I met a few like journalists that I had heard of but never quite gotten to know, like Andy Robinson and Christopher Dring from the game business. Very wonderful people to talk to.
Met one of my coworkers and the people from Smashpad, who, if you know me, I've been writing for them for a few months. Um, List of people I've talked to aside, it was electric. It was incredible. Just oh, I didn't even mention. I went to like a. It's not an after party because yesterday was the day before the Game Awards, but I went to like a party hosted by EA at the top floor of the Ritz Carlton. My broke ass did not belong there. It was open invite, so like, yeah, I could go, but I still, it must be some kind of imposter syndrome or something, because like, it is too damn nice. There was some great food, good like live music. Like, EA knows how to throw a friggin' party. Because the Saudi Arabia money is pretty good. But it was unreal. I loved every minute of it. I wish I could have filmed it, but A, I was kind of living in the moment, so I kind of wanted to take it all in for myself. And B, I felt like filming at an industry party would not have been in good practice professionally. Um, so I didn't really opt to do it. But I'm going to try to film a little more today. Planning on stopping by Little Tokyo for the first time. I've heard a lot about it. Definitely want to check that out. Um, and try to meet some more people and Showtime. Uh, God, we're already here. I'm gonna wear my Persona 5 shirt because we are manifesting Persona 6. It's probably not gonna happen, but I could damn well try. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Sorry I didn't film as much as I would like to, but it happens. All right, on to the next adventure.
After a good night's sleep and staying up until 11 p.m., just chatting with people in the lobby, drinking beers, chatting with journalists and coworkers, I finally went to sleep. But the afternoon before the Game Awards on Thursday, I decided to go down to Little Tokyo because I had always heard so much about that place, and I wanted to check it out. So I decided to go and check out a retro game store that was down there because you know me, I love looking at my local retro game shops. And if I'm ever traveling, I love seeing what people offer in terms of retro games around the country. You'd be surprised how different the selection can be sometimes. There were plenty of cool games in this area. A lot of cool posters on the wall, the cardboard stand-ups for Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, my personal game of the year for 2024. That was really cool to see. So it was a nice place to stop by. And next thing I know, I was just exploring all of Little Tokyo. They had like a grocery store, kind of like H Mart if you've ever been there. And God, it was amazing. I would go back. I didn't get nearly enough time to explore everything that I wanted to see. But after my Little Tokyo adventures and one bowl of udon noodles later, I was hanging out at the J Dub once again to see who was walking around before the show. So, two funny stories here, or one funny story, I guess. Like, I was eating my udon noodles in the lobby, and I look to my right. There's people from Xsola, which, editor, correct me on screen, I believe they are like an investment firm for the games industry. Like, they invest into studios, but also handle influencer relations. Uh, they were talking business deals, and I'm just there slurping on some like udon noodles, and I didn't even realize it till like halfway through like my bowl, and I'm like, oh shit, there's people talking like money here, and I'm just like, funny noodle food. So I don't know why that just sticks out to me as a really silly moment in that whole week, but oh man, what a time. As the place was getting a little more crowded leading up to the show, I was hanging out with some people that I recognized. I met up with Eddie from Golan, the PR agency that represents Nintendo. I was catching up with him because, again, I had only known him online, got to meet him in person for the first time. Really cool dude. But next thing I know, I see Devin Pritchard walk past me. And if you don't know who that is uh, the upcoming, I guess, incoming president of Nintendo of America because Doug Bowser is retiring at the end of this year. So I saw her walk past me, and I'm like, oh my god, that's like the new Nintendo of America president right there. So like I say hi to her, of course, and like she was so nice, very kind individual. And then Doug Bowser walks right past me, and I'm like, what is happening? So I'm looking around me. I'm just surrounded by people that work for Nintendo, and I'm just chatting with everybody, and it was. I couldn't believe what was going on. I could not believe that people from Nintendo were just all around me, and I was just chatting with them. It was the fact that they gave me the time of day was shocking, mostly to me. Like that was the biggest surprise. But holy crap, that was incredible. That was a highlight for me.
Yes. Come back for fresh meat for the show.
Gamers got meat?
So showtime roughly comes up, and the doors open to the theater. So after getting into the theater, they had a red carpet for people to take pictures at. So naturally, I had to jump into the photo op myself, and it was awesome. They had these custom like gaming PCs themed around some of the nominees for Game of the Year or other categories. I thought those looked super neat. Really wish they would have given one to me, but whatever. But I finally went inside, and man, that stage design.
All right, we doing this for the content. You're about to catch my reaction to what this stage looks like in real time. Holy. Dude. My God. Dog, this is incredible. What the hell?
That stage looked absolutely incredible. And it was great during the show, but just kind of getting that first reaction was wow. While I was just finding my seat and kind of just hanging around a little bit, it was just a few minutes before the pre-show started, I happened to come across Matt Mercer. I had no idea he was going to be there. He literally just appeared like right in front of me. And next thing I know, I'm just like, oh, wait, Matt Mercer? You're here? He's so funny what he said. He's like, yeah, I'm here to get my face melted off by 3 hours of ads like the rest of you. He's such a funny guy. He's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful guy. I tried to meet Ben Starr and as well, and well, I couldn't quite find the time to do that, but God, I wish I did, because apparently the whole Claire Obscure cast, I was like right near them when I was walking around, and oh man. But still, great time saying hi to people. So the show begins, and it's a bit of a hot take to a certain group of people, but I thought this show was pretty good this year. I thought it was decent. It wasn't like completely like, oh my god, this is the perfect show, but I thought there was a good variety of announcements. There were some games that appealed to most people. There were a couple of titles that made me think, hey, I kind of want to give that a try. And I feel like that to me is a sign of a good show, where even if I didn't care for most of it, I still found a couple titles that resonated with me. And I think that's what that's all about. Discussions about like the balance of awards versus announcements aside, that's a whole other conversation that I feel like I've covered ad nauseum on this channel, but I am more than willing to talk about that again if people really want to hear me ramble about it. But yeah, I thought it was decent. I mean, that Divinity trailer like traumatized me. Like, wow. Like, I'm not showing that in this video, but seeing that on the stage in like 8K, yeah, no. Not a fan. Not a fan of that trailer. I'm sure it'll be a good game, but wow. But yeah, like I said, show was pretty decent. I had some very reasonable reactions to some of the announcements. And I have to always shout out my guy, Flute Guy. That dude's killing it. It feels like he's just making up different flutes at this point when it comes to these shows, but the medley was great per usual. I was headbanging, I was tapping my foot, like it was incredible. And congrats to Claire Obscure. Even despite a lot of the shit that's been coming out with Claire Obscure lately with Gen AI, I just want to give congrats, credit where it's due. That's all I'm going to say about that. After the show, I was just hanging out in the lobby, trying to meet some of the guys from Sandfall Interactive, actually. And I happened to come across Joseph Fares. RIP Split Fiction. I don't think it even got a single award, which I kind of feel bad because Split Fiction, from what I heard, was actually a pretty decent game, but you know, things happen. I'm sure it's still a good game of its own merit. It doesn't really need an award to be considered a good game, but still, it was cool to meet Joseph again. Because I met him in 2021, but yeah, I got to see him again. Just a nice guy. I don't have a lot to say, just that he was a nice person. But while walking around outside, I also caught up with the Astrobot developers. Man, that was awesome. Astrobot is one of those games that I've always wanted to play, but I've watched like playthroughs of it like at least half a dozen times, and it looks so good. It's such a polished product, and like I got to talk to them and like kind of ask, or not ask them, but I told them like, you know, it's cool that they're looking at all these old Sony franchises. They're really like staying true to their roots while building something that's great in the modern gaming landscape. So it was just wonderful to talk to them about that and about like game preservation. They are pretty interested in that kind of thing, believe it or not. A lot of AAA companies will have you believe otherwise, but I mean, these guys have pretty sizable game collections, and we talked about how cool it is to kind of have collections of these physical games and legacy titles. And yeah, I think if you peel back the marketing, they do care about it to an extent. I think there is some truth to them wanting to be true to their roots, so to speak, with all these PlayStation IP. It's just sometimes the big company just sees it as an afterthought, and I think that's really a shame, and I think they really tried to push for inclusion of these legacy franchises where they can, so I really hope they are able to keep doing what they're doing. Back at the J-Dub, I got to meet a lot more of my coworkers. Fantastic time. Shouts to you if you happen to be watching this video. And I got to go to some sweet after parties because this is the first time that I was able to really walk in as a professional. At one of these parties, I met Grant Kirkhope. What the f***? Like, I had only known him as just this prolific composer. He worked on only some of the most well-regarded games of, like, the N64 era. He did a lot of music for more modern stuff, like Mario and Rabbids. And now he's doing music for Bradley the Badger, one of the other highlights of the Game Awards for me. It was unreal to be able to chat with Grant Kirkhope because I love his work, but also he's so kind. We were just like having a couple laughs over beer. It was awesome. Fantastic time. That was incredible. I also happened to catch Family Jewels walking around. He's a metal guitarist, YouTuber. He does like metal covers of video game tracks. Love his work. I'm always jamming out to his stuff. So that was a really cool surprise. I wonder if he was also there because Grant Kirkhope was there. So I guess we have that in common. And yeah, that's pretty much all the stories that I have of the Game Awards. It was, wow. I mean, this has been a year for games. This has been a year just in general in more ways than one. Like, a lot of good games came out, but also it was the first time I got to go to one of these events as a professional because I work in games PR now. I won't say for who because I don't want to get that mixed in with my personal endeavors like this channel. But to be able to have that level of like access talking to these people, it gave me a very interesting look into the business of games, and like everyone is just so nice. That's the takeaway. Everyone is so kind. We're all in a celebratory mood. I love going to the Game Awards for that reason. I know the Game Awards has a lot to fix, or a lot that kind of holds it back from being as great as it could be. But I have to say, I still enjoy the show. Do I think that the awards could use some more stage time? Absolutely. Do I think that there's problems with, just the balance of announcements and awards? Yes. But in my mind, I see it as the Game Awards is fun and the Game Awards can improve are two statements that can be true at the same time. You can enjoy something and critique it. That is the beauty of critique. Takes about the Game Awards aside, it was a great time. For the first time, I actually got to feel the energy of having a game I worked on win. Because I do, like, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, is one of my clients at In Games PR. And to see them win Best Fighting Game, absolutely unreal. I was screaming in the audience. That is a feeling I am going to remember for a while. So that was fantastic. This entire time was fantastic. I know there's a lot of shit happening in the games industry right now. I want to believe that things will get better. Hard to say, but I'm just gonna keep moving on as if things will get better, because I think there is a chance things can move in that direction. And I think that's the kind of mindset we all need to have right now. Even if it's blind optimism, it's still optimism. And I think we just need a little bit of that right now. But that was my adventure at the Game Awards this year. Wow. To anyone who I met, if you happen to be watching this video, wonderful to meet you. Wow. I can't wait for 2026. I hope to be going to more gaming events, so I can have more stories like this to tell. Yeah, it was just fantastic. I'm going to stop rambling. That's going to be it for me. Stay vibing and thriving, everyone, and I will see you in 2026.